Hey, everybody. So tonight we're doing the angel Jophiel. Jophiel is associated with the heart chakra, the heart center. It's not the angel that is associated with the chakra itself, but it's in the club, it's in the band. You know what I mean? It's very much associated with the heart center. And the aspect that it's really associated with is the aspect of imagination, which is a quality of the heart chakra. So it's not necessarily the whole heart chakra. The whole heart chakra, the archangel associated with that is Zadkiel, right? But Jophiel is associated with this quality of imagination. And imagination isn't the ability to like daydream or to fantasize or make things up. It's imagination is the ability to perceive something that the mind can't perceive. Or you could say perceiving something before the mind perceives it. And so this kind of comes to this idea of uh, the state of our body acting as a lens. You know, when we have a past of, say, a lot of trauma or a lot of betrayal or a lot of abandonment, we kind of walk through life like so, and we're just looking with this tunnel vision, and alls we really see, alls our nervous system really seeks out is a pattern associated with, our lens of what we see. And so, on one level, it's like kind of how we see the world, but on another level, we we keep experiencing the things that have happened to us in the past. We keep experiencing it until we kind of break out of the repetitive pattern. And the ability to break out of that repetitive pattern is also the ability to perceive things outside that lens. And if we think about it from the point of view of the intellectual mind is always dealing with our past experiences, things that we've memorized, things that we know, indirect experiences. We have an idea or a pattern or a template, a philosophy of how we're going to handle potential situations. So we don't really take things in and process it and decide in the moment. We have this preconceived idea of what we're going to do. And again, it's still based on our past experiences. The idea of intuition is to be able to experience the soul while in the body. And this means the ability to have spontaneous experiences, to be able to perceive beyond our past and beyond what we've memorized and what's in a book and what other people think we should be doing, you know. And this idea of the angel Jophiel is tied to this. And the name Jophiel means beauty of God or God's beauty. And in Kabbalistic practices and esoteric practices, beauty doesn't mean like, hey, you're good looking. It's not about our physical appearance. It's about the ability to transmute negative energy, like the grayish energy, the stress energy, the survival energy that's in our field. It's tied to the ability to transmute that into gold, into golden energy within your energy body. And how that happens is When soul energy, when divine energy comes in and begins to interact with the aura, it then starts to turn golden, but it starts to accumulate in the navel chakra. And when enough of it has accumulated in the navel chakra kind of starts taking it and mixing it and pulling these different pieces, and it's mixing it and mixing it. And then it starts to produce what you would call the golden body. At first it's just like little specks of gold, and then it's a little more refined, and then there's little plates of gold, and then there's like sections that are gold, and then eventually the whole aura turns golden. So this also symbolizes that ability to perceive and to have experiences that are not based on our past. For the golden body to be developed, for there to be gold in your energy field, you have to be able to experience the soul and be guided by the soul in the here and now. And if we're living our lives based on our past experiences, no gold, because we're always living in that repetition. We're always living in that past. We're living in the intellectual mind. We're living in the survival mode, in the survival field. We perceive things from the point of view of simply from survival. So, this idea of beauty is to move beyond survival, right? To move beyond just the primal drives of normal everyday life. So, this is also associated with like positive thinking and optimism. Again, that's more of a byproduct of the intuitive mind than the intellectual mind. Anytime that an angel is associated with wisdom, it's also associated with the intuitive mind. Um, Jophiel is also considered the healer of the heart. Again, we're breaking out of that lens, where we're starting to see things from different perspectives. And really, it's not just even seen from a different perspective. For this to happen, there is a kind of light that has to be present in the heart. There's a kind of quality or activation of the heart. It's not just simply like looking a different direction, it is cultivating and developing something associated with the heart center, right? So let's practice with Jophiel. So different practices, different angels, we kind of tap into the energy of that angel, and then we work it in ways that is very specific to that angelic energy. And one of the things that I like to do with this particular angel is concentrate the use of the name or the oil on the heart and the back heart. And then as the heart becomes more activated, more stimulated, then to perceive things in my normal everyday life. So we're going to do a version of that. So what I'd like you to do is just to be still, have the oil ready, the oil for the angel Jophiel. And before we start inhaling, before we start doing anything, what I'd like you to do is just reflect on your week, things going on in your life, If there's a past event that you're always working on, let's have you look at that. Okay, and then you're letting everything go. And let's start with just a little bit of body awareness. We're observing our whole body, we're feeling our body, and wherever we feel tension or heaviness, wherever we feel something, you're going to observe that area and keep your attention and awareness on that area. Okay, you're going to let that go. And at first, we're just going to use the name. So no oil yet. We're just going to use the name. Your awareness is on the heart, the center of your chest, and with your awareness on your heart, silently in your mind, repeat Jophiel. 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 Just sit with it. This angel kind of sneaks up on you. Because a little bit of time goes by, there will be a deeper shift. Jophiel. Now, your awareness is between your shoulder blades, the back heart. Your awareness is on the back side. Your awareness on the back heart, silently in your mind, repeat Jophiel. 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 Just saying the name with awareness on the heart, and you begin to shift the lens that you see everything through. The technique's not very complicated, it's not super involved, it's just experiencing the angel. The more that we can get light into the heart, the deeper we can experience the angels. Let's use the oil. Inhale with your awareness on the front heart, the center of your chest. Thumbs up. Like it just keeps building and building and building. You're inhaling the oil. You're doing nice, long, slow, deep breaths. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths with your awareness on the heart. Then just let it go. Your eyes are closed. Let go of the inhalation. Just let it incubate. Just being still. Again, your awareness is on the front heart. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. You're inhaling, your awareness is on the front heart. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths. You're inhaling, your awareness is on the front heart. You're pausing and you're letting it go. Begin inhaling, your awareness is on the back heart. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths with your awareness between the shoulder blades. Your awareness is below, on the backside between your shoulder blades. Just pause and be still. Let's inhale again. This time your awareness is on your forehead where your hairline is. So up here on the forehead. Your awareness is on your forehead. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. You're okay. Sleepy. And then just pause and be still. Let's do your back head. Your awareness is on your back head. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. And then pause and be still. Okay. So we're going to do it now with words. So no oil. Your awareness is on your front heart, silently in your mind. Jophiel. 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 Your awareness is on the back heart, that area between your shoulder blades. Jophiel. 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 You're just letting go. Your awareness is on the forehead. Jophiel. 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 Your awareness is on the back head. Jophiel. You're just letting go. Now, observe the same thing that you observed at the beginning of this session. things going on in your week, situations, past event. When do you notice? So I'll share my personal, like, I didn't do it with you guys in this session, but I've used this angel quite a bit. You know, for those of you that have done the materialization breath, you sit and you focus on a situation. We have our, like, this needs to happen, that needs to happen, I want this to happen, whatever it is. And then we go through and we do the materialization breath, and it's like, "Buh," and morphed into like three other things. And then you do it a couple more times, and they go, it disappeared. Like, now I can't tap into anything. And what's happening is you're shifting out of the intellectual mind and you're shifting into the intuitive mind. And when you are in the process of materializing, that is actually more of an intuitive process than an intellectual process. You're bringing in something new, you're bringing in something into materialization, you're going beyond the senses and you're bringing it in. And the thing that happens is it shifts your perspective. And when you shift your perspective, all of a sudden, those things that you are so sure of, that was in the intellect. When you get into the intuitive mind, it just takes in information and then it starts moving. It starts moving towards the goal. It starts moving to, you know, some sort of creative process that brings that into form. And here, when you go through and you start looking with the activation of the heart with Jophiel, where it's tied to the aspect of imagination, you'll notice that, when we look at some past event or we look at some situation or some person where, maybe there's trauma, maybe there's hurt feelings, maybe we just don't like them or we have a hard time getting along with them, there's some sort of difficulty. And we're very clear and we're very certain of the difficulty or the dynamic that's there. The certainty is because of the intellect. Like, you're looking at it from the intellectual point of view. Right. So as you go through and you start working this, you're changing your lens. You're changing the magnification, or you're changing the perspective of what you're seeing. And so what happens a lot of times is, I think Samantha was saying she felt very just like, even like, eh. But a lot of times for me, I'll look at it and it's like, even when I'm looking at the same situation, it doesn't seem like the same situation. Like, I might see different things that happened, but I feel very neutral. But at the same time, it almost starts to disappear a little bit. And part of what's happening is you're shifting out of the repetition of intellect and you're moving into that intuitive mind where now there's starting to be movement in that situation. So we're either creating and improving that situation, or if it's something negative where we have to release it, we can't release it in repetition, right? For us to be able to release it, for us to be able to transmute it, it has to be in the intuitive mind. We have to be able to shift out of the repetition and go into something where there's some sort of dynamic activity or spontaneous movement. And so when you go through and you start working with the Jophiel, for one, it's very soft, it's very soothing, and it kind of sneaks up on you. like I sit in there and do that, and I'm like, I don't know if I feel anything. And 30 seconds later, I'm like, oh, I can barely keep my eyes open and and it's not even like, oh, I'm relaxed. It's a kind of expansion that starts to happen where I'm not even really that aware of my body anymore. Like, you're having an expansion of consciousness where you're expanding out of the body. And in doing so, you have to be able to let things go for that expansion to happen. So much of what we do is based on survival. And when we expand, we kind of expand in a negative way out into that situation. Our emotions, go out into the outside world and then they come back and we feel like more stressed or more traumatized or, we basically sought out the negative pattern because of our neurology. And then we experience it out there, even though we might not have had a direct interaction, we still kind of project it outward and then we bring it back in and we embody it, right? And that's part of how we stay in that repetitive mode. When we expand, we're expanding up out of the upper centers. We're expanding uh, up higher, right? And we're beginning to experience more of our true nature. We're beginning to experience more of the soul. And then we come back and we embody that, right? So then whenever we look at these different situations, we're coming at it more from a soul perspective rather than a survival perspective. And that's very different. That's very healing. It's very innovating. We learn, we break out of the pattern. I mean, I could keep talking about it and talking about it, but let's maybe do some shares and questions. You can unmute yourself. You could type in. How did you do? Let's process that a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead, Dan.
Hey, Dan.
I um well, I pretty much forgot the feeling and the emotion of this kind of a stress situation I had at work was kind of transmuted or gone. It didn't have little spikes on it that it did earlier, kind of thing.
Right.
But one thing I was thinking, it's been lately, maybe just recently though, I've been feeling a little more hollow or spacious inside.
hmm
Is that part of, you know, related to the practice that we were doing or,
Yeah. It's part of like what I'm calling the angel heart or having light within the heart. Another way of saying that is like being a vessel or cultivating a kind of emptiness. And the emptiness is really for the soul to come in. It's not of the mind, it's not of the ego, it's not of the intellectual mind. It's of that intuitive part of the mind, more of the higher nature. And, part of like when we start to observe, we're starting to embrace that aspect. You're starting to shift out of the chatter in the mind and you're starting to experience the quietness or the stillness of the mind. And when we start to have that, it does feel like more space within us. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I feel like that. It's interesting too. Like I've been feeling like things are feeling a little uncomfortable with that, but it's
Mhm.
just kind of like I'm just giving it space kind of thing without kind of attaching
Yeah,
it.
like if you think about like when you go to a new city or something, like it's not like you're terrified, but you're just like, hey, I got to be a little extra careful.
Yeah,
I don't know these streets. I don't know. like, how to do the thing on the subway. I don't, it's like you do, but you don't. You know what I mean? And so it's like it's not terrifying, but you just like for a little tiny bit, you got to go, I got to be I paying a little bit more attention here or a little bit careful. And it's just because it's new. And that's the I don't want to call it a trap, but like with the intellect is it's comfortable, it's repetitive, we know it. We know what it is. We experience it all the time. And so it becomes harder and harder to step away from it because it is so comfortable. And, when you step into this idea of something new happening or something spontaneous happening, you know, we don't get to like sit there and be super comfortable with it because it is new. So you have to like kind of pay attention a little bit and look around and, it's there's a little bit more to it, but there's also this kind of like it's a little bit invigorating or it's a little bit um I don't know, like stimulating, like it's like uh reinvigorating is probably the best word I can give it. It's it makes you kind of curious and like ooh, like you're on a little bit of an adventure and
Yeah,
something new is going to happen and something different might happen and you never know and yeah.
yeah. Because I think the part of the practice that I've been doing too is like, thank you, show me more kind of thing, right? As
Mhm.
I'm getting into more of contact with my kind of my higher self, I think. Yeah. Thank you, Craig.
You're so welcome.
And go ahead, Teresa.
Yay.
Hi, that was interesting. And I appreciate your explanation, like because I had a really great day yesterday,
Hmm.
and at the end, I got pretty triggered, like in the body.
Hmm.
Um, so I brought that into the session today. Like I could feel it pretty deep. I think something was going, and then you're like, "So what were you focusing on?" And I'm like, "I don't even remember."
Yeah.
Um, and I just had this clarity of you don't have to figure out.
Mm-mm.
Um, it was like I had a fabulous day, and then I had a lot of really great stuff happen. And at the end, had a coffee with someone, and there was just a few things that were brought up in the conversation. Like it was fine, and then afterward, my body's like, "Oh my god." And it went into
Yeah.
an old trauma, and it was pretty intense. I haven't felt that in a long time. And today it was like you don't have to figure it out. If it just doesn't feel good, don't have another coffee. It's that simple.
Hmm.
Like you don't have to work the problem or try to figure it out.
Right.
You just don't have another coffee. It's not
Right.
complicated. And I know that might sound pretty obvious, but it's very liberating.
Yeah, I would agree. Like a lot of times, it's good to go through the processes of like, okay, I got to work this, I got to do this, because we're usually deep in the intellectual mind, and
Yep.
it is good to walk those things out. It doesn't mean it's completely resolved, but it's good to kind of be able to walk those things out because
Mhm.
even the intellectual mind is building a kind of skill set in that area. But really the true healing is going to come from just presenting the issue to the intuitive mind. And the intuitive mind will mop the floors and wipe down the counters and, cleans up the crime scene. And, it will do it much, much deeper and much more effectively than what the intellect would do. And so we just got to be able to present it to the intuitive mind. And sometimes, I think I was sharing, we had this issue with we had purchased something and
Uh-huh.
they didn't deliver and like, we kept reaching out to them and I mean, they were just blowing us off. And so, coming up with all these like we should do this and we should do that. And then it seems very very obvious, but I just had this aha moment where I go, I'm calling the credit card company. Like it seems
Exactly.
it seems like, oh, like why wasn't that on your list? Because it wasn't. It wasn't on my list. We don't have to deal with stuff like this. And I just, I think I had like
Yeah.
woke up that morning and I was like, oh, this is what we're doing. And
Yeah.
it seems obvious, but in the moment, like my mind wasn't going there. Like it was not
Oh,
on the horizon at all. And so, even though it seems like it's an intellectual process, it's still the intuitive mind is what got me there.
yeah.
Then
Yeah.
intellect went through and did all the steps, but still I wouldn't have gotten there through the my decision tree and like what I mean. It wasn't dawning on me, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting when you talk about that because I kind of think, you're used, this is for me, in the work environment and
Hmm.
in working and helping people to work through conflict and get to a resolution, right?
Hmm.
And I think so much of that was just a part of what I had to do to get to this point.
Sure.
And it was just like, just clear. And I'm like, well, nothing really happened. My nervous
Right.
system's a little bit more settled. And then I got, you just don't have to have another call, It's that
Right.
simple.
Right.
Kind of like call the credit card company, have them deal with it.
Yeah.
It's their job,
And if I'm being super honest with myself, I was a little caught up in the drama of it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
they're not answering. We're gonna keep, calling and emailing until they address this issue. And we weren't super worked up about it, but there was a little bit of drama around it, and I just got
Yeah.
caught up in the drama. And
Yeah. Oh,
the intuition came in, and it was like drama resolved. Like, just do this. We haven't thought twice about it since, you know?
exactly. Well, thank you. You know what I love about this and this angel? It can just be that simple.
Yeah,
You don't,
yeah,
I think if you're
yeah.
used to doing the deep transformational work,
Hmm.
at some point it doesn't have to be the way it was when it started, right? It doesn't have to be
Hmm.
hard work. It can just
No,
be as simple as call the credit card company and don't have another coffee. That's it.
right. Right.
Um, and so thank you. That's pretty
Yeah,
amazing. And yeah, last night my body and my mind were having a really great workout with
right,
an old story.
right,
And I'm like, wow, I don't need to feel this way anymore.
right.
So thank you. I'm excited to get the kit now.
Yeah, it's a nice one.
Yeah.
The thing that's interesting too is it's so soft and gentle too. It's
Absolutely. It was like
yeah,
breathing. It was
yeah,
just natural. It's like there's nothing there. And then all of a sudden, this beautiful, gentle thing. You didn't
yeah.
have to figure it out.
So many times when I start to work with this angel, and I've thought this many times, is I'll start saying the name and working the oil, and because this is one like, I mean, I think I was making the oil blend like maybe
Hmm.
30 years ago. Like
Wow.
it's been one of the ones that's been around for a very long time. As far as stuff I'm doing and making. And you know, I'll start to sit and do the name, and I crack myself up because I do this almost every time. I'll go, you know, because a lot of angels, you start saying the name and you're like, oh, I can feel something happening. I'll go, yeah, I don't really feel anything happening. Yeah, no, not really. Am I doing it right? Like maybe I gotta get a little centered and like, you know, and I sit there and I go, okay, I'll say it a few more times and I'll keep saying the name and then I'll just go, well, you know,
Oh
I'll
goodness.
just be still. And then like this wave just, and then I'll be like, where am I? Like like it shifts me so much, but it's a lot like how in like meditations where you know you're chanting a mantra or you're doing something and all of a sudden you know you hear come back to your body and you're like what's a body like you know oh yeah I have that body like okay now how do
Yeah.
I get back there and like you know it's like you start going down that I mean it's that kind of expansion for me but it
Yeah.
always starts off with almost like feeling nothing. Like
Yeah.
you just like go, you know, yeah, I feel a little something, but
Yeah.
and then it's just like you can just feel this momentum happening and yeah.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Would you mind sharing what's in the oil?
Sure.
Hmm.
Easier to on this one. Um, so it's hemlock spruce, helichrysum, Idaho tansy,
Mhm.
acacia, spruce, hyssop, Ami visnaga, and frankincense oman.
Wow.
Mm,
That's amazing.
yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
You're so welcome.
So this is Lorraine.
Hey, Lorraine.
I just amazing expansion.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I would
it's
agree.
just amazing. And I'm sitting here thinking about every week I'm thinking about my job and how I spend so much time. I have to spend so much time in the intellect for my work. And
Sure.
I'm looking for some of these practices or patterns that I can do like in the evening. And this one really resonates. It's a very
Yeah,
simple pattern and I
it's
could
very
do it in
simple. It's very simple. It has a big, you know, the front heart, back heart, forehead, back head. That pattern will affect the part of the nervous system associated with like action, activity, fight, flight, you know, survival oriented um drives you know it's one of the ways that you can work those survival drives and you know the stress field and all of that and it's a way to like kind of calm that down and those centers you know the heart the back heart the forehead and the back head are also the energetic centers that get activated or stimulated for clairvoyance. And so when those areas get like activated or, become a little bit more stimulated, the tendency is to be able to perceive beyond your senses. And if you think of like what we're talking about with changing our lens and changing how we see things, and even like the thing with work, you know, you have to do your intellectual mind at work, but at the same time, there's also like a little bit of a price to pay, but you still have to do it, and the price to pay is like, ugh, at the end of the day, I don't feel good, or I feel stressed, or I feel burned out, or I feel still like I'm attached to, things happening during the day or whatever, and or other things too. But I mean, those are just examples. And um, that ability to step out of that survival field and that survival mentality. I used to have a teacher that used to call that the citizen. He goes, like, the citizen has to do the things that get us through the day and the outside world, but at some point you have to be able to step away from the citizen. And it's not about diminishing it or negating it. It's just not to have it be the only thing we do. And so much when we're in survival, that's what happens is we just get stuck in that citizen, and we don't really see the other perspectives that our mind can potentially perceive. And, I go back to this. I was just having this conversation with a friend over the weekend. Remember when we were talking with, and, so this was when I was young. I was in my early 20s, and I didn't have a super stressful job, but there was a bunch of people at the job, and there's always like politics and opinions and attitudes and everything. And so, every day I'd get out of work, and by the end of the day, I'd kind of had it with where I was working. Like I was just like, ugh, this is so upsetting. These, whatever person is obnoxious or whatever. And, I was participating too. So I'm sure they were, upset about me or whatever. But, I'd come home and I'd be having a rough day. And this place I lived in was on the coast. And if I drove past my house just a little bit, there was this state park that was cliffs on the ocean. And so after about 6 months of living there, um, I started driving past my house, and I would go to the cliffs and I'd watch the sun go down. And it was usually like a little 30-45 minute thing. And I'd sit there and I'd watch the sun go down, and I'd watch the ocean and all these things. And then I started playing this game where after the sun would go down, I'd try to recall what I was upset about when I got there. And I'd say I was only batting about 50% that I could recall it. And then when I could, I would start laughing because in this different perspective, it was ridiculous. But when I was in it, it was not ridiculous. Like, I was so, like, I'd get so upset, you know. Um, and, that's just a different way, like, watching the sun go down and watching the ocean. It's a different way to shift over into the intuitive mind. And this is a much more powerful tool, or it's a much more powerful technique. But I mean, if you start doing it on a regular basis, like that's the experience, is where, especially this one. I mean, all of them can do it, but especially this one. It's just, it will change perspectives. And you're dealing with difficulties and then you step away, and to not have to keep carrying that around in some metaphorical backpack where you just got to keep carrying it around, even though you did what you had to do in that day at work or whatever it is, to be able to have that level of expansion where, you go into the intuitive mind, and in there, things just release, things get transmuted. You don't even have to go, I'm going to focus on this. I'm going to focus on that. You just got to get your foot in the door. You got to get in that room. And then once you're in the room, you kind of, you have your experience. And then it's just like, yeah, life is good. Like life is okay. And, those difficult people at work, or, you know, I worked with a group of people that several of them were very insulting. And, they kind of took their pride in being able to poke people. And, even though I knew it, it still would trigger me a bit. And, after doing this for a while, I just got to where, it's like I could take the sunset into work with me after a while.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same idea with doing this angel or this practice over a period of time. You start to have this inner experience, and like how Dan was saying, like there's like this emptiness inside. And then when you go into the workplace, it's almost like you're taking some of that into the workplace or into these situations. And, it just takes the edge off somewhat, maybe not completely, but somewhat. And it makes it easier to step out of that citizen and step into, the other parts of yourself.
Yes, and that's exactly what I was thinking of. By practicing this, then it does become part of my day,
Yes.
so that
Yeah.
that stress is either no
Yeah.
longer stress or less. So thank you so much. This is
Yeah.
fabulous.
The thing that I would say, like just to reiterate what you just said and what we were talking about, is like the more that you have these experiences, like here, like Jophiel feels very specific to me. Like, when you have this kind of expansion, like, how we're talking about the heart and the lens and all of this, it feels very specific to that. And the more that you're able to keep experiencing that, keep having that experience, it's like you get to take a little piece of that and stick it in your pocket. And then when you go into that intellectual thing you got to do, or the chores that the citizen has to step into and take care of, you still got that in your pocket. You know what I mean? You can pull it out and like, ugh, so the more you do it, the more you can stick that in your pocket. Yeah.
Great shares and questions, guys.
Okay. So let's go ahead and close our eyes. And we're going to do the same pattern, but we're going to do it in reverse. When we do it in reverse, it hits more of the rest and repair mode in our nervous system. So first we're going to do it verbally, and then we're going to do it with the oils. Actually, you know what? Let's flip that. First, we'll do it with the oils, and then we'll do it verbally. So your awareness is on the back head, and you're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Nice, long, slow, deep breath. Now, move your awareness to the forehead. Your awareness is on the forehead. We're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Your awareness is on your forehead. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. The back heart, that area between your shoulder blades. Your awareness is on the back heart. Your awareness is on the back heart. And your awareness is on the front heart, the center of your chest. And then pause and be still. You're just pausing and being still. Okay, let's do that again. Your awareness is on the back head. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths with your awareness on the back head. You should. I can make more. I can make a big bottles of everything too. You're still on the back head. Let's just pause and be still. Let the back head go. Just pause and be still. Okay, let's start inhaling on the back head again. You're inhaling, your awareness is on the back head. Move your awareness to the forehead where the hairline is, right in the center. Your awareness is on your forehead. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Just pause and let it go. Your eyes are closed. Just pause and let it go. Awareness is on the back heart, that area between the shoulder blades. Your awareness is on the back heart. Just let go. And then your awareness is on the center of your chest, the front heart. And then pause. Pause and just let it go. And we're going to set the oil down and we're going to do it just with words. Your awareness is on your back head. And then silently with your mind, you're going to repeat Jophiel. 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 Your awareness is on your forehead. Jophiel. 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 You're just letting everything go. Your awareness is between your shoulder blades. Jophiel. Jophiel. Your awareness is on the front heart. Jophiel. 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 Now, keep your eyes closed. Go to something that's been happening in your life, some situation, some past event, even a person. Observe it through this new lens. And with your awareness on this situation, event, or person, again, silently in your mind, Jophiel, 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 just let go. Notice how you feel, your body, your emotions, your thoughts. Treat you. So I still have a few minutes if somebody wants to share, ask questions. And then at 8:15, we're going into the Star of Prayer petition blessing. And we are going to continue to work with Jophiel. So we're going to do something that we didn't quite do here. So if you want to continue it, um, join us over at Astara, but we still have a few minutes that we can process or have a share.
Yeah, go ahead, Denise.
Hey, hey.
Um, this reverse order seemed to really help me a lot.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it was really good. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. So when we do it in reverse, we're hitting the parasympathetic part of the nervous system, which is like the vagal tone, rest, repair, digest, heal, transmute, all of that. So we're strengthening that component quite a bit by doing that reverse version of it.
And I could still order this kit this evening. This is the final evening.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm so glad I participated in this evening. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's very I don't know. This one's very soft, very, very soft.
Soft but powerful.
Yeah,
Very.
oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to joke that I'm gonna have to wear a name tag so that when I come back to my body, I know my name.
That's right.
Because if you sit and you do it, I mean, oh man, you take off, you know.
Yes.
And just in the vein of the packs, really quick. So Jophiel and actually all the angel packs except for next week's Capsiel are at the special price until the end of the night. So if there was another one.
Well, that's right. We did the week.
Yeah,
Well,
today's the last night. Someone shared this angel seemed fluid and danced around. Very fairy-like with lots
yeah,
of sparkles and lights around her.
yeah,
Very loving and kind energy.
yeah. I mean, it's like I said. I mean, they're all of the heart. They all touch the heart in some way. But this one definitely has specific affinity with aspects of the heart, of developing the heart. So, yeah. Yeah, in the early days, I used to use Jophiel for helping to develop clairvoyance, which is why I was using it back in the day. Boy, talk about somebody being in their head. That was me. Mm,
I feel like people are doing a real good job of using words right now.
I know.
Someone said, thank you. Great night.
Yeah, it was a very nice night. And I mean, if you think about it, like every week, it's different. I think like, oh, they all kind of start to feel the same, or oh, the more we do them and the deeper we go, the more they feel all very, very, very different. Yeah, it's great that we get to go through and do the journey like this week by week, because there's no way we could touch this in a weekend or, you know, get to maybe experience a few angels, but not like we're doing week by week.
Exactly. Well, and
Yeah.
even when we do revisit some of the ones we've done in the classes, they feel so different.
Yeah.
Like it's deeper or
Yeah.
something.
Well, plus, it's not just a technique. It's more as we go through and we do these things, we're developing something inside us. And as we develop something, we begin to experience this angelic energy or any of the angelic energies um like deeper or more fully. And so, yeah. So Okay. I think everybody's nice and quiet and
But yeah, everyone's nice and quiet. Robert is making sure everyone knows next week is CapCL,
Cafcio. Yeah.
and I'm having a hard time talking. So.
Yeah, that's another long time favorite. Been working Cafcio for almost as long as Jophiel. So, okay, you guys. Well, we're posting the link. We're going to go over to the Astara prayer petition blessing, and we're going to work with Jophiel a little bit longer. You know, this session's about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. We're going to work the energy of Jophiel and do a little bit of blessing before we call it a night. So join us if you can. And if not, next week, um, we have Cafziel, and then the weekend, a bunch of you, I think, have had the class. We're doing the psychic protection. You know, it's one of the older classes, but doing a vagal tone version of it. And so hopefully I'm going to see a bunch of you there. So